on. Everybody just getting stuff together. We just getting rid of Daesh out of Syria. We just getting rid of everybody out of Iraq, right? We just getting ready to settle down, and here the Kurds pop up and they say, well, we're going to have an election and we're going to break off and we're going to keep all of this stuff up here. Of course, we're part of Iraq is against the Constitution. They ain't right to do it. But you guys are probably too weak to do anything about it. And on top of that, we're going to wave the Israeli flag right in the middle of all the Arabs.
Because the Israelis panic.
Good God Almighty. And then, symbol of Kurdish nationalism rises in Raqqa. When they take Raqqa, they put up Abdullah Öcalan's picture. He's the head of the anti-Turkish, pro-Kurdish crew. Good God Almighty. So now, organizing opposition. Iran got Kurds, so hey man, take it easy with all that talk. In fact, the Kurds in Iraq, when they would have problems, they would run to Kurdish Iran, they would run Iran, and not to Turkey, because the Iran is friendly. Look at the situation. They've taken people that would have no reason to work together. Because remember, the whole world has told them, do not have that vote. So if you have that vote, Turkey said clearly, you ought to see Turkey, they still can't sleep now. Basically, we're going to invade. You ain't going to do that. So the first thing Turkey do is when they have a vote, they cut off the pipeline for sending oil through Turkey. They cut that off. The next thing is everybody, Europe, Iran, everybody say don't do it. They did it anyway. Day before yesterday, Erdogan, whatever his name is, he was fuming. What kind of friend are you? Talking about the United States. What kind of policy is this when you encourage the forming of a Kurdistan right on our border, and we got 3 million people from Syria in our country, and we are part of so-called European alliance and NATO, and we, and you doing this to us. What's wrong with you? What kind of friend are you? In the meantime, Iran and Turkey is in love on that idea. And so is the rest of the world. And to make it even crazier, remember the other day, last week, when the brother from Kurdistan was here? And I told him, see, y'all messing up, man. What I was telling him was, y'all gotta straighten that up. Because you're messing up. And what happens? You look right here. What's the name? This is just today. Iraqi leaders acclaim grows after retaking of Kirkuk. See, they didn't retake Kirkuk. They didn't retaken all of that. They didn't close down the airports, and so they had autonomy. That means, okay, we're over here in the southeast. Long as we pay taxes to D.C. government, they said that's Niggerville. Y'all can do what you want over there, but you can't leave the D.C. and say we Niggerville all to ourselves. But you can do what you want over there. You can do all your little business, and you don't have to worry. You got it going on. It's an they call them autonomous regions. You are autonomous. You're self-automatically doing what you do for yourself. Okay, but you're not independent. What do? We're going to be independent. So they're going to jump up and be independent, and they fused Turkey together with Iran. They fused the whole part of that world. Then the dummies pick up an Israeli flag.
Who's behind it all?
Good God Almighty, of course. But you can know Marx the ABC is back there. But if he come out with the devil's sign or with the Zionist symbol, six-pointed star, you know what I mean, and horns and everything, and laughing.
666.
666. Yeah. That's like waving a red flag in front of the bull. The United States, this regional vision, they made that. And this, we're just daydreaming, and we write down, wouldn't it be nice that the old empires all get back together again? Two of them is back together. And pieces of number 3 are all friendly with our folks. Yeah. Uthmaniyya and Safavids are hand in hand. And they twisted both of them the wrong way with no justification. We're not going to certify you, Iran. So everybody, all the white folks said, man, bump you, we can't, we got business, we're getting money on, what are you talking about? You told us, see, this stuff been going on a long time. Hey man, you got us out of the money in the 80s and 90s. And now we got it here, we getting open money. We ain't going, whatever you talk about, we ain't about that. And all of them saying, hey man, we doing what we want to do for us. The U.S. tells all of its allies, you're not important. Turkey, you've been kissing our butts, standing on your head and doing everything. But we fixing a policy for us. You see how selfish it looks? So the U.S. has done all of this for us. Look, this then went step by step, and then we have number 5, victory. Long process of regional development, and then personal Islam. Islam, you know, to cleanse and become, We want to, I know we've been over this, but see, the people don't know why the Americans and the Israelis are mad. They painted a picture of our community as just some niggas in the Southeast who are anti-Semitic, right? That's what all English stuff say. But this is not anti-Semitic. This is anti-bad Negro press. This is saying this nigga know what the hell he's talking about. Because it's not possible. It ain't right. If you go back to 2011, you can't come up with that because there's no reason, right? There is absolutely no reason for that analysis. None. And there's no way you can do it. Ain't no way I can do it. There's no collection of people can put this together. Unless everybody does the wrong thing at the right time for our team. The Kurds, those dummies, now they are friends now. We've always been with the Kurds, but not at this point. If you do that when everybody needs stability, talk to them next 5 years or something. But not when we just get rid of the bums and you're going to say, yeah. And then they move in And homeboy gets big. You know how bad they talk about the Iraqi leader. Oh, that boy just sissified and says, move against the Kurds in wake of their independence vote, quiets Abadi's political foes, and blusters or bolsters his position in next year's election. And then he slipped. Abadi, U.S. Iran should take rivalry elsewhere. Stop talking about how strong Iran is, right, in Iraq. We got to do this. He's saying, hey man, going home. Of course, it'll be 4 million Iranians there next week, whenever Arbain is, right? Yeah. Najib and Karbala is there. So he's saying, hey man, don't y'all be fighting up.
You know, the Rothbard just visited him the other day.
Yeah.
And he told him, he said, don't go for that stuff with the Americans.
Right.
He said, don't trust them. He said, don't trust them. He said, because they'll double cross you in a minute. He said, I just want you to know.
Okay, but you got to remember the Shia militias, Muqtada Assad and them. See, Saudi Arabia has been trying to be friendly last month with Muqtada Assad, trying to be friendly with Saudi Arabia. See, they're Shias, and they know every knife that cut each one of them's throat was a Saudi knife. Everybody know that. So, could we have produced any of this? Absolutely not. Then it says, under fire, Kurds offer Baghdad concession. See, day before yesterday, last week they was talking bad. He came on back, and now Iraq has retaken all of what belongs to Iraq and moved on up into traditional Kurdish areas. Okay, there's been a little fighting, but it's been cooled down. Okay, so we wanted to say that so they would see how and why. Is the government so mad? Is it because we're a bunch of niggas that don't know nothing? Or is it that we're almost got a crystal ball under here? That's the way they look at it. They said the nigga got a crystal ball because there's no right. You look at this time, there is no reason. And there's no way. Well, how is that going to happen? We didn't tell them how it's going to happen. We said, this is what's going to happen because this is the environmental circumstances. You know where you smell and you see everything is moving a certain way? And they're going to do it. That's the way it is with us. That's the way it is with everything. So why did they write this? Why did they put this, translate this from English, from the lecture in Tehran, and then put it on in their paper? I'll give you a few ideas from the notes. The ayats that we use are these ayats up here, and there's a lot of tafweed there, and global regional manifestation of defects, proxy wars, Syria, Libya, and Yemen. Of course, somewhere over the rainbow, dreamland, when it's the worst, that's the time you let your mind float and think. And that's why I got all these other notes over here, about Uthmaniyya and all of that, because that's a trying time. And you should always never lose sight of the great possibilities because of the temporary injustices and what have you. All right. So, unreasonable optimism. Unjustifiable optimism. In other words, to be optimistic, you cannot find a reason to be optimistic. You know, if you were looking for a reason. That's what the type of optimism we have is unreasonable. It's unjustified. We've always been unjustifiable optimism. Okay, so it's just a note to myself, Allah gave me the ability to choose and to lean, to tilt, change, leaning towards optimism, realism, not pessimism. Visualize the end result of this episode, historical transition period. Thanks to Allah. Imagine, visualize 5, 10, 30 years from now. That's why I'm going to talk about China in a minute. China has stepped off, forges a path to the future. Constitution recognizes new thought and absolute party leadership. The other day, his 3.5-hour lecture centered on almost exactly 5-year plan. That's what we want to solve this. They got a 2020, by 2020, we want to have reached what is called modest prosperity for everybody. It's already prosperous and strong. And you done heard about what China is doing. Marxist-Leninism says freshly elected leaders and a new outlook on socialism with Chinese characteristics. Socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era. Okay, now, they're gonna elevate him, and they put Deng Xiaoping, they got Deng Xiaoping and they got Chairman Mao. Chairman Mao thought is like the Red Book, you know, the Red Book, Chairman Mao, 1945. This is a book that all revolutionaries know about, the Red Book. It's the Red Book, that's what it's. Okay, now this is volume 1 of selected works, Mao Zedong. This is it. Okay, you can see it ain't that new. This is the chairman. This is, of course, an early picture about 1950-something, probably. But in here, this one is 67. The laws of war are developmental. Aim of war to eliminate war. Strategy is to study war, the laws of war situations as a whole. Important things to be good at learning. Then it has, what are the characteristics of China's revolutionary war? Our strategy and tactics ensuing from these characteristics. So Chairman Mao, what's the name, acting like he popped up with something new? No, it's not. It's new for this time, for these kids. Always, China is down pat. The Communist Party doing a good job. They probably, I can't call them communists. Why they call themselves communists? Fine, it don't make no difference what they call themselves. You know, long as they do, you see, 5-year plan, 10-year plan. What we want to look like in 10 years. And he finishes up with 2049. You know, that's serious planning. In the West, it's always a 2-week plan, right? And any new executive, they work on a quarter system. If they make you the new chief, you got to make some money that quarter, right? If you don't, they're going to get rid of you. Therefore, you can't do anything longer, because we want to invest $50 million in new machinery, new carpets, new lights and everything, and new machinery, and it's going to have us ready in 5 years. You can't do that. Why? Because they'll get rid of you before you get the dividends. And if you're in Congress or anything else, you can't do any long range. We're gonna invest $5 trillion, if we could find it somewhere, to develop. Why don't they develop the infrastructure, the highway system? Because you have to spend the money now. And you won't get the big result for 5, 10, 20, 30, but you'll get big results. But they'll get rid of you for it. So it's like organizing on a principle of suicide. You cannot, in the West, if you go to Congress, you cannot do right. You cannot. If you do, they get rid of you.
They're reactionary.
Huh?
They're reactionary. Everything
They're reactionary,
come up,
and you gotta be instant. China is doing just like we do. 5 years, 10 years, 30 years. This is what it says right here, 30 years. Negroes planning 30 years ahead. Of course. Of course we believe a lot of them keep us around until we're 100, maybe 105. Technically, it don't make a whole lot of difference. If you leave tomorrow, you leave with a grin on your face, because ain't hardly nobody made 72 with the white man on their case. Shoot, be lucky to get to be 22 years old, man. Hey, this boy is brutal. So every day is a sunny day. All right, so now we're in tune with everybody that's on the road. Now, do not think we ain't playing for no position for nothing, but do not think that all security forces, intelligence networks, right, know what's going on in every country. The other thing, if Russians, Chinese, and everybody monitor the U.S., what are they going to find out pretty soon? They sure don't like niggas in the Southeast, do they? Especially if they're Muslims. Because they're on their case. So guess what they're going to do? What's so important about them niggas? So guess what the intelligence network, I know we mentioned this 7, 8 years ago. Yeah, it's been true. What's so important about them? Okay. Everybody, when we say good old Putin, Putin said, what, some nigga said that about me? They're using our literature. They take selected works, guerrilla warfare, and change it to psychological guerrilla warfare, using the same title, same outline, except it's psychological, the same tactics. Draw them in deep. Exactly, except they're psychological, not physical. Hey, I think this is all right. You think people not paying? And if you come up with, now, here's the thing I want to say about China. China done jumped big. But if they want to eliminate all opposition worldwide, they should make one step right now while they're on the way up. Right now. To cure all of the suspicion and global everything, they should go to their nemesis, Japan. Japan is big. Japan did the Asian people way worse than white people. Good God Almighty, I mean, you've probably seen or read about Japan and China, Japan and, oh my goodness, and Korea. And then they say Korea shot a missile over top of Japan. Japan, you know the comfort women dialogue they had, the women in Korea that the Japanese used as sex objects from the 1930s. Well, it was more than that. They said, we ain't did nothing, we don't know. And the rape of Nanking in 1937, the Japanese slaughtered 250,000 people in one city. It was unbelievable. But they can go find somewhere in Confucius or somewhere, and And maybe find it in Chinese Buddhism. You know, Shaolin is a Buddhist place, right? So they can scrape around and find it on forgiveness. We're going to forgive Japan. We forgive you the way you did us. Good God Almighty. Okay. Let's cooperate. Asia for the Asians. We're going to cooperate because we're not going to give America. See, because America tried to use Japan against China. Oh, they get big, so you better keep your eye on them. And they'll use, no, they dirty. And then something bad, or every time the Koreans start their sunshine policy up, they say that North Koreans blew up something and killed 62 soldiers or sailors. That's a lie. The Russians investigators said that ain't no torpedo from none of these people here. That's probably American hooked that boy up, right? No, this is a big strategy. If you Chinese listening, here's what you do, right? Do it right away. Now, if you don't do it, I'm gonna come down and drop one of these tapes in you. Maybe everywhere I send a few around.
In your mailbox?
Sure, I drop in the mailbox. I'm gonna send it up to the mailbox. I'm not walking up to your embassy like, no, you know what I mean?
Sick duck.
Yeah, unless you invite me. But just think about it. You want to eliminate all enemies. Japan is a little too arrogant to say I'm sorry still. But you the big people, you hear what we do? Them niggas be throwing and slashing us all the time. We say, la tatarabo, no reproach. That's what we say. We say that. We're not telling you something that is impossible. We say that. And don't worry, the people that we saying la tatarabo, no reproach, they deserve a thorough butt kicking. From the butt to the feet to the head. La tatrabu. You do that. Here's what's going to happen. You cut off the U.S. and the West. Now, you got to remember, in 98, the tiny tigers, when they was coming up, Malaysia, Indonesia, and everybody, and the economy drops in the bucket. Who did that? You think it happened on? No. You coming up big, the West still has some steam. They're still big. It's easier to destroy than it is to build. You're building. Okay. You got to cut off all foolishness. Here's what I mean. Japan, China works together. You parcel out to Thailand, Cambodia, and all these places. You parcel out all of these, this is probably the brother downstairs, you parcel out all of those production you need, a little bit of production here and there. Just go downstairs and ask them what's happening with the Bible. Therefore, you cut off the West's ability to destroy you. Probably I'd turn this stuff off too if I was saying what I'm saying now. This is big. Like the other day I got to talking, I got to itching and hey man, them people ain't, this stuff is deep. Here's why it's deep. If you cut off any attacks and you build China, you'll go to Korea and say, look man, North Korea. So look homeboy, we got you covered. We're going to send you a little business, a little production on the side. When we build outside the country, we're going to take 10% of y'all, with us. And they don't know a Chinaman from North Korea. And all y'all live up on the Chinese border. We're taking y'all. Y'all going to do work outside. We bringing you with us. In the meantime, you get to hugging and kissing North and South Korea. You keep your independent systems, except North Korea, tell them, show them how to develop revolution economy by North Korean characteristics in the new era. You keep most of the stuff you want, but you want to make your people wealthy and everything and take care of everything. You do that, but you keep your North Korean characteristics. We do it all ourselves. That's what this stuff about Islamic movement with African American characteristics. We've always pushed that. The denegralization process, all of that. We've always stayed close to home. Okay, now that means Thailand, Cambodia, Asia for the Asians. Everybody knows this is the Asian century. But you don't want to oppress nobody. You want to get that hold first. Because I believe China is going to lead the world into this millennium. Just before mid-century, to fix the world in which we live. You know why I believe that? Because the Chinese Communist Party have did everything they should do under the time and place and circumstances. Chairman Mao built China up and made it strong. Nobody could invade China after Chairman Mao when he passed away. Deng Xiaoping came along, and getting rich is glorious. China, the last 40 years, it got big as it can be. It don't look nothing like the barefoot doctors of China. Wasn't long ago, they had barefoot doctors. Doctors that had three months training, and they walked barefooted throughout the country, helping people in sickness because they wasn't hooked up yet. Since then to now, China is in the middle of the real world. Then when it got, development is always imbalanced. And right at the right time, we've been talking about this, they shift to say, now we're going to bring up the rest of the poor people and lift them up. Right? That's part of their platform. In other words, these guys is on their job. They will probably be our allies in the global transition coming soon. Because they've made, like you gotta remember now, we have made the proper moves all along our way. They have made the proper moves all along their way. We all started way back in the woods together. They developed socialism with Chinese characteristics. That guy said that about 40 or 50 times in his speech. For the new era. For what? New frontier. We're talking exactly, when I was watching first, I was just not, so what? He's saying exactly, I just looked at, I say he's saying exactly what we say. Right? Marxist-Leninism. Chairman Mao Zedong thought. Or Marxist-Leninism, socialism with Chinese characteristics. We doing what we want to do. You can call it anything you want. They doing just like Deng Xiaoping said. It don't make no difference whether the cat is black or white, long as it catch mice. He didn't care whether it's